Yeah, you know the wind was blowing. This in one is all parts of town.
Well, you know, after about a year, well, really before the first year anniversary came, we decided, you know what, we're tired of playing Groundhog Day with the federal government, with the state government. I was just listening on KPFA to a lady with the Mississippi Center for Justice, and I may not be saying it right, but it was deja vu, because what's happening all along the Gulf Coast is that there is no recovery going on. You know, I went down in January and again in April, and there is no recovery going on. Now, I'm a homeowner and a taxpayer, and I was working. I did have a job at the Contemporary Arts Center in New Orleans before Katrina struck. I'm out here because I have a son, an adult son by a previous marriage, who flew me and my two teenagers out. My husband stayed behind, but thank God he didn't lose his life. It was a foolhardy thing for him to do. But after the Superdome and after being shipped to destination unknown, I think he has a new appreciation for what the power of one person can do. And so we are here, the three of us, to say to you that we're in big trouble. Not just us. As if the government's already screwed us. I'm talking about everybody who is going to be a part of the next disaster, whether it's an earthquake, whether it's a tsunami, whether it's a tornado, whether it's the Sacramento River levees giving way. I mean, if the government treated us this way, you know, you can surely bet that it's a template now for treating every other disaster victim. And I don't know if you've heard of the concept of the United Nations guidelines of internally displaced people. How many have heard of it? See, we do have people who know about it. Well, okay, so then I don't have to explain it to you that the government is in violation of the United Nations guidelines for internally displaced people, as well as its own Robert T. Stafford Disaster and Relief Act. It's not following any of the rules. You know, the trailers, there are not enough trailers. We're all, listen, we in the Katrina diaspora are among this mass dispersal of 350,000 people around the nation and beyond, and it is the biggest mass dispersal of people since the Trail of Tears. That's the first injustice. The second injustice is to give us a one-way ticket out to a destination unknown and no way to return. Now, Katrina did not hit New Orleans, as you know. It went to the east of us, and of course they say whenever you're to the east of the eye of a hurricane, you're going to get it really badly. We did get it really badly, but we didn't get it badly because of Katrina. We got it badly because of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And those of you who want to get more into that, all you have to do is look up Dr. Robert Seed, and no, it's not Robert Seed. Well, anyway, Dr. Raymond Seed. I should remember that. My husband's name is Raymond. And Robert B's UC Berkeley engineering report is scathing. I don't know if you guys have been watching the dominoes fall. First it was Michael Brown, and then most recently it was General Strzok of the Army Corps of Engineers, whose own report laid the blame at the feet of the Army Corps of Engineers. So what I'm trying to tell you guys is this catastrophe was the greatest engineering disaster in the history of the United States. It is a mechanical disaster. It is not a natural disaster. And therefore, we feel that since the Army Corps of Engineers and the New Orleans Levee Board and the State Levee Board and all the other duplicative city agencies, state, federal, city agencies, government, who had a hand in this, then they should pay. What do they want to pay us? $150,000 per homeowners. After you deduct the money from FEMA, after you deduct the money from the American Red Cross. It's got strings attached. And yet a year later, the state has the money, the $12 billion. Governor Blanco is sitting on the money. And it's been a year and I've been away from my home and my birthplace and my roots. And I don't even know when I'll ever go back home because there's no potable water. There's electricity in my neighborhood finally, but there's no potable water. There's no sewerage. There's no debris pickup. My husband just went back down there. Thank God he's a carpenter, because if you didn't have your house gutted out by the anniversary, even though the mayor later rescinded this rule, but if you didn't have your house gutted out and boarded up by August the 28th, then it would be declared blighted. So the movement for eminent domain is alive and well, all along the Gulf Coast, all the way up through New Orleans. They would rather us not come home, let us sell our property for pennies on the dollar to the state. The state's offering to buy our property. And then the state's going to sell it to developers. And then Donald Trump has been down there. What's his name? Camilla and Prince Charles have been down there. I think Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie are still down there. So, I mean, the buzzards are circling and they're picking off of our caucuses. No. So now, here we are in the Bay Area. Lovely place. I do want to say, if it were not for average American citizens, we would have perished. Whether it's from starvation, whether it be from mental illness by this point, you know, because the suicide rate has increased devastatingly. We have not gotten the mental help we were supposed to get. We're all suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome, and if you heard our mayor on the radio around the time of the event, cussing like a sailor, he later said, you know, what can I say, it was post-traumatic stress syndrome, you know? But I'm laughing, but you know what, we're still suffering from it to this day, because now we're doing a dance with FEMA. I am trying to get what's entitled to me under the law, which is funding to repair my property and to replace my personal property. And every time I call FEMA, I get another caseworker. It's Groundhog Day. Okay? I wake up, what's happening with my case? Oh, well, Miss Rock, let me see now. Let me read all 50 pages, and then maybe I can conclude where we were to get you where you need to go, but that's not going to be tomorrow. And call us back next week. That's the message I got yesterday. Okay, so I'm just saying, to me, it's all, if it wasn't so serious, it would be laughable. Sometimes I have to laugh to keep from crying, because I'm like, what is this Groundhog Day? We're enveloped in that. And then people say, well, didn't Red Cross give you some money? Well, didn't, you know, Salvation Army and Goodwill pitch in? And yes, everybody pitched in. But if you call $500, $2,000 money to move with, to buy clothes with, to buy food with, to find an apartment with, to buy shoes with, I got some Newport news for you that did not go that far. Matter of fact, my $2,000, I bought me a little rickety-tickety car so that I could start looking for work and get to the grocery and feel like a normal human being. But what has happened to us, as Aaron Neville said, they tried to wash us away. And now they don't want us to come back. And so we've basically been abandoned by our own government. A government, by the way, that can spend $8 billion a month on an Iraqi war, $30 million a day, a government that can prop up other governments all over this world and want to spread democracy and claims to be the most humanitarian government in the world. Since when? You can't prove it by me. I feel terribly let down by my government as a taxpaying citizen. I feel terribly thrown away and abandoned. So Survivors for the Survivors decided if it is to be, it's up to we. So we've been out there pounding the pavement, asking for donations. We need donated cars for our people who don't have transportation. We just gave food cards, Safeway cards. We shouldn't be doing this. American Red Cross is sitting on money out here in the Bay Area and has not cut it loose. So if anybody's here from the Red Cross, I'm talking about you. I will talk about you. So one of the things we are doing to raise funds is we have been given a donation of several of these books by the Carp Watch Report, I think that's on Telegraph Hill here, Big Easy Money, Disaster Profiteering on the American Gulf Coast. And it's a $25 book that we're asking people to donate $15 for the book. But I started reading this book, and the first 2 or 3 pages, I was so depressed. I really wanted to cry, and I wanted to throw up at the same time. I cannot believe. When we say, where did the money go? Here it is. And guess what? It didn't get to the survivors. But God is good, and we are survivors, and we will survive, like Gloria Gaynor said. Thank you very much. Hey.
They will let you know there's gonna be trouble at the window. Hurricane gonna fall in old Houston town.